Since hit put your guns down and stand with me. This shit was so silly. Tore up a whole city and two whole families. Sin City, Sin City, Sin City, Sin City. Let's go. Put down you guns, there's a cost to pay for the games you play. It could be your life, in a grave or a cell. Is it worth it? Nobody's perfect. Don't leave your family hurting. It ain't worth it. Hey, you put it down and walk away. Live to fight another day. There's a cost to pay for the games you play. The rest relay. Finny, bubbly. We celebrate your life today. Many to the Lord, I hope you pray. Now they wanna take your life away off for a YouTube page. Rest in heaven, Finny, you will be missed. Sleep like an angel, Bubbly, you will be missed. Sending love to the babies, they bless the world with. Condolences to your families you can no longer sit with. Sympathy to those who witness. Shout out to Las Vegas, Sin City. Put your guns down and stand with me. This shit was so silly. Tore up a whole city and two whole families. Stop trying to compete where you do not compare. We are all so different, so special, so rare. Create with care, share with good intentions. Subscribe with high expectations and like with love. God's truly sneaky, 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 sneaky. Put it down, you put it down, you cut it down. There's a cost to pay for the games you play. It could be your life in a grave or a cell. Is it worth it? Nobody's perfect. Don't leave your family hurting. It ain't worth it. Hey, you put it down and walk away. Live to fight another day. There's a cost to pay for the games you play. The rest we lay. Finny, bubbly, we celebrate your life today. Many to the Lord, I hope you pray. Now they wanna take your life away, all for a YouTube page. Rest in heaven, Finny, you will be missed. Sleep like an angel, Bubbly, you will be missed. Sending love to the babies they bless the world with. Condolences to your families you can no longer sit with. Sympathy to those who witness. Shout out to Las Vegas, Sin City. What I mean, to the Lord I hope you pray. Now they wanna take your life away, all for a YouTube page. Rest in heaven, City, you will be missed. Sleep like an angel, Bubbly, you will be missed. Sending love to the babies they bless the world with. Condolences to your families you can no longer sit with. Sympathy to those who witness. Shout out to Las Vegas, Sin City. Put your guns down and stand with me. This shit was so silly. Tore up a whole city and two whole families. Stop trying to compete where you do not compare. We are all so different, so special, so rare. Create with care, share with good intentions. Subscribe with high expectations and like with love. Yours truly, Sneaky.
Hey y'all, how's everybody doing? Y'all can hear me good? Am I too low? Is my sound okay? Hopefully we don't have no hiccups on the service today. Abuelita's Journey, welcome. Thank you for being here. Oopsie, thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. Graphic One, thank you for being here. The Ghost, thank you. Bernadette, Mr. Marcus, it's the Gemini 75. Welcome, welcome, welcome for being here. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you all. Just make sound is great. That's awesome. Hey Mary, welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right, so we good to go. Sound is good to go. How's everybody doing on this great Friday? I hope you guys are enjoying the day. It's hot as hell out here in Las Vegas, so I'm gonna try to stay out of it. I might swing by the pool, hang out at the pool here or something. I don't know. It's hot as hell. But I hope you guys are all having a blessed day. Thank you for being here. Please make sure you smash that like button, share if you care, and share with good intentions. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys again for being here. So, not a lot of things happened yesterday, but a few things did happen, and I wanted to make sure that I addressed a couple of things and we were all clear on what happened. And I'm gonna ask you guys a question here. You guys were asking me in the beginning if I saw someone in the courtroom, and I believe the person you guys were asking me about if I had saw Machete. And somebody, can you guys send me some pictures? Can somebody send me a picture? And then I'm going to go ahead and get go ahead with my commentary while I wait for that. You guys good? You guys good? All right, all right, all right, all right. So let's get into the things that are things. So in court yesterday, there was a lot of cases that were there. So there was a lot of people inside of the courtroom, um, and both Tiara Jones and both the public defender, Violet Redasto, they both had several cases in court that day. I sat through all of the cases that were there that day until all of the inmates were walked out of the courtroom. Okay. Um, Manny was in the courtroom yesterday. Let's see. I'm just reading through my notes as I go through with you guys. He didn't have his glasses on. They were in his pocket with like a piece of folded up. I don't know what it was. He never took it out. You guys know if there's any papers out, if they get caught on camera, I'm zooming in, I'm getting the details just like I did last time. But unfortunately, this time, that piece of paper wasn't removed from his person. And also, the public defender did not have that paper in her hand to give to him. He was already sitting there with that paper when I got there. I will say that when I got into the courtroom, everyone was already in there. Normally, I would get there in time enough to walk into the courtroom, see that it's empty, walk back out, and wait with everyone else. But this time when I walked in, everyone was already seated. There was barely room for me to sit, and all of the defendants were in the room already. I did tell you guys that the public defender did have other cases there. So with that, the lawyer spent most of her time talking to the other gentleman. I am going to go over his case with you guys. I'm not going to drop anything yet, but I will go over his case with you guys on another video. She spent most of her time talking to him. Manny sat there patiently waiting. His case actually was called first, so I'm guessing that's why she spent the bulk of the time there. But even after that case, I didn't really see her go to Manny and have much discussion. It seemed like whatever they already had in plan or play was, or they already knew. So there was not any back and forth of conversation normally how there is. I tell you, normally the lawyer sits and she's whispering back and forth with him a lot. This time it was not that way. So that's just, and then inside of the courtroom again, it was very busy, so there was a lot going on. I know that there's a clip going on. I believe Fox 5 News put out the clip from yesterday. I actually seen the person who was taking that video and taking the photos. I actually seen the person who was writing the story. So there's one person who is doing the videotaping, and then there's another person writing the story. She walked by me. I think her name was Tanya or something like that. I was able to see a little something on her name badge. But she's the actual writer, and then there was the photographer off to the left of her. Once Manny's case was over, she left the room, the photographer stayed. Um, I don't know if you guys noticed in a video, but at first I thought he was doing it because we do know that those glasses that he wears is prescription, and everybody says that he has a hard time seeing. So at first I thought he was doing this weird thing with his eyes because he was like, squinting trying to see, doing something weird with his eyes. He was just like, it's almost kind of like a squint, but it's like a really weird stare that he does. I don't know if anybody else have seen him do this before, but he was doing it at weird times, not times when like there's nothing to see. You're not reading anything. A person is standing in front of you, and they leaned over to give something to someone else, and you do it. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're trying to see something on the screen far away. The courtroom is really, really small. You know, in these courtrooms, I'm probably want to say maybe 8 to 10 feet away. Really close inside of these courtrooms. It's not far. maybe 12 feet, tops away from where he's sitting. So it's not a lot for him to see to where he should be squinting and doing that. But he was doing this really weird thing with his eyes. I don't know if anybody pick up on it or anything like that. Let me know if you did. Okay, so getting to the details. This was a matter of a motion to preserve evidence, correct? With that being said, what evidence were they trying to preserve, right? The exact evidence, because I see, hey Terry, how you doing? Welcome Rico, thank you for being here. Graphic, I see you have a question. Pretty much how much evidence do they have? So, think about how a crime happens, right? Think about how this crime happened. There was an incident on the strip. There were no police involved at the moment, right? There were shots fired, and the police are now approaching this situation. So, what you have from the police is body cam footage, body cam footage, initial reports, things of that nature. I looked at the initial report. There's not a lot in it, but there is some evidence that Metro PD has. So they have obviously all of the body cam footage from the beginning, from the start of them getting calls about what happened on the strip. Now, when you sending information, like say you are a person who is there and you are witnessing this, and you want to send your information or send what you have to them, like, hey, I was there, I was recording, I got this video, I don't know if it could help, but I want to send it to you. Where do you go to send that at? Where do you send that to, right? When they send out the initial press release and they do the initial press, they tell you where to send that information. They give you a phone number, 702-828-3521, and they give you an email address, homicide@lvmpd.com. That is where you would send your information at that press release, right? So they would collect maybe other phone calls, 911 calls. They would have body cam footage from things coming over. They would have, again, bystanders, videos, and things of that nature. They would have those things as well. However, we also know that this is now a district case, and people have figured out other ways to send information to the district attorney, right? Because the only thing you need to do now is send everything to the district attorney's office, right? Let me address a little bit of your comments before I go on, and let's see. I have, it's normal for many. Okay, so you see him do that a lot. Okay. Kind of something that, like, I don't really know his mannerisms or anything like that. I don't know if it's something that, maybe he is, bothered by something, or if that's just normal for him. And I know that he wears glasses, so I know that that could be a thing. Yes, so body cam, all of that, all of those beginning phone calls, anybody who called in that night. They should also have street cam footage. They should have surveillance from the different properties. There is a lot of different information that lies between LVNPD and the district courts, correct? The state's response in opposition of the defense motion was that they weren't in custody of the evidence requested. LVNPD is in custody of it. Correct. So that's what the judge, this is what everybody is going back and forth with in the court about it. So you have the state versus Manny Ruiz. You have Manny Ruiz and Violet Rodesto, his public defender. They are saying, hey, we want all of that information that LVNPD has. We don't know what's admissible or what we're not going to use or anything like that because we don't know what's there. And the state is saying, hey, we don't have it. LVNPD has it. Why don't you go and request it? If you want it that bad, you go and request it. And they're saying, the public defender is saying, hey, if I request it, they are going to send it to you. They're not going to send it to me. I'm going to have to then request that from the district attorney, right? So that is the process. If anything is requested from LVMPD, it is going to be sent to the district attorney's office. So whether the district attorney is requesting it or the public defender is requesting it, it is going to be sent to the district attorney. So the judge is like, hey, if y'all don't got this information, why didn't anybody subpoena LVMPD to get it? I want to see it. Why hasn't anybody done that yet? Okay, we're going to do that. Right? We're going to do that. We're going to preserve the evidence. We're going to put, that's why when you look at the paperwork, it says part motion. I think, let me get you the correct verbiage before I ring it, say it wrong. It reads, oh, dang it, hold on. Okay, so I'll pull it up from here. It reads as, da, 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 da. Let's see, get it from here. Sorry, I just want to make sure I say that correctly. Just give me 1 second. It's opening now. Open, 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 open. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, is granted in part. So, yes, that's the verbiage that's used as the result was granted in part. So, yes, the judge granted it. However, it is still within the jurisdiction of LVMPD and it needs to be turned over by them, right? Okay, so crazy how the state is even opposing that motion. Hey, Shells, how you doing, honey? How you doing? For being here. Hey, Chat Lives Matter. What's up? Thank you for being here. It sounds like the state, let's see. It sounds like the state just doesn't care because they already have enough evidence that they need. And that's what I'm thinking. So if you seen my poll question earlier, that's why I phrased it the way that I phrased it. Because it sounds to me as that the state doesn't need it. So if they want it, they need to go and get it. And once they get it and the state gets it, then they'll request it. But they're not wanting to do any extra legwork for the public defender. You're going to have to get the information that you want. You know the process and what it takes to request it, and that's what you need to do. You posted the state's response to your wall if you want to read it. I can't read it right now, Goals, because I don't want to open up too many screens and my search on you guys. If you want, screenshot it, send it to my Instagram because I can pull that up on another device. And oopsie, I'm looking at your message right now as well. Okay, so then now you have the state. They're going. The state and the public defender again. They're going back and forth because they want to know. They don't know how damaging or what this information that they may have or what LVMPD has, right? So, and the state is looking at it like, I have the main video, I have the actual incident, and I have it from the perspective of right in front of it, right happened, right as what had happened right in front of everyone else. So maybe they don't want that other information. Maybe they don't need it. They're not going to bust their ass and do extra work. This is already going to be a long case. There's already a lot of evidence that's already in there. You have 4 terabytes worth of videos that were already collected and preserved. So what is, can you get more? Yes. But what would be the reason for needing them more? And whoever needs it the most is the person that needs to go get it. So the state is not saying, hey, haha, we have this paperwork that you can't have and you can't see. We've got these videos. We've got these pictures. They're saying, we don't got it. We don't know where it's at. We ain't asking about it. We got what we need over here. We don't know what they're talking about, right? Like that. They're not willing to go much further on it. They're not trying to push the issue on it. If you get it, we'll give it to you. You know, it is what it is, right? Thanks, Graphic. Appreciate you. Those cops Manny knew gave him and Julie a wedding, a car each, and money. Think it was Benjamin's. I'm not really sure about that. I really try to stay a little bit far away from a lot of the extra things that happen outside of the courtroom because I don't want to get into no mess, okay? And I want to be able to continue through with the case for you guys. I don't want to have to stop at some point because, you know, my behavior has changed or anything like that. True, because they have enough time to make their case. And that's pretty much what it is. They have enough time to make their case, and they have way more. Exactly, this is way more than Epstein files. They have way too much information, right? Obviously, there's no such thing as too much information, but there is information. There is a lot of information. Let me check and see something. I'm trying to see. Let me just make sure I go all over these notes. Oh, and the judge was pretty mad about that too. It seemed she was like, so if you're supposed to be getting it, and you know they can get it, yes, as well, but you know you're asking for this information, and the judge repeated it. I think about 3 different times. If the state is going to use this information, then they should get it. If the state is going to use this information, and the state is not even answering to that. They're not even, you know, there's no response to that because they're not using it. They're not adding any commentary or, you know, they don't have any context behind her saying that. And then, of course, you have to make sure that when you're setting a motion, you have to have a reference to your motion. So what she referenced was the Daniels motion. And I did post that for you guys as well. So you can see exactly the definition, and you know exactly what that means and everything like that. I posted it with all of the underlying elements to that as well. Let's see. Isn't that a way for courts to have a retrial and with evidence hidden or not seen, causing a fair hunt for justice? There, there can be, and then of the evidence, and this is why it's just best for all parties to just go ahead and get it into the court, which is why the judge suggested it. Because what will be the harm in seeing nothing more? We've already watched 4K. Let's just get the last 1K in there and call it a day. You know what I mean? So that we can have all of the evidence. Because at the end of the day, can it cause a mistrial? Would like to get from that information. You know what I mean? Because what else are we going to see but another angle of you doing something wrong? It's not like there's going to be a video out there where it shows someone else taking these actions, right? It's not a video out there that's going to have his face all of a sudden covered up, you know, and now we can't tell who did it. There's not going to be another video out there like that. So what would we need to see those other videos in order for it to actually make a difference? Hey OYB, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. If the state doesn't hand over all evidence, this will be a mistrial. That DA has a history of withholding evidence as well. So that's another thing that we'll have to get into. We went into the judge. We talked about Sierra. We talked about even the first judge that he was with in the regional court. We talked about Amy Cellini. We talked about Violet Rodesto. We talked about that. So we'll talk about the DA as well. And there are some other cases that are being worked. but it is not guaranteed that not having, because remember, this would be two different sets. It's two different cases under two different jurisdictions. When that's why when we look at the court case, we don't see to a different platform, and we have to view it from the regional court because it was two different courts and it was one case transferred to another court. Now, to further explain how things can go, there was a next case that came after this case. And in that case, the lawyer was arguing, hey, I have no clue what is missing, what is not missed, what I do have, what I don't have. And you have to go with what you have. The case is not going to stop. You have to go with what you have. You have to go with the evidence that you have, the evidence that you're able to collect. So if you are, I am a defendant. Myself, I am Manny. I am pressing the gas on my public defender. Before we go back to court in November for our status check, you need to make sure that we have that evidence. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't care if I'm paying you or a public defender. You are representing me in this moment. It's your job to make sure that you go get that evidence. And I want you to go get every single piece of it just in case somebody says something or whispered something or put a sign up or something in there that could help me. And that's me as a defendant. As the state, I would say you could go 3 minutes of video that I need right here. And those are the 3 minutes that I'm going to focus on in my case. I don't care what you pull up on your side. I am going to focus on these 3 minutes. I'm going to focus on your claim for self-defense. I'm going to make sure I tear that apart. And I'm going to make sure that you have nowhere else to go because you didn't plead insanity. That hard defendant, I would go hard. Either way, both sides, I would go hard. For Manny's sake, I do hope that the lawyer takes the time to put in the work. And all it takes is a subpoena. It's paperwork. You're already in the courthouse. That should have been the first thing that you should have done, the subpoena at the same time you did the motion to preserve the evidence. Why would you put in a motion to preserve evidence that you haven't even tried to get? How are we going to preserve something that you don't have? You're asking me that question as if I can help you. You are the public defender. You need to lace up, honey. You need to lace up and get ready to run. Get ready to run. Excuse, it's the state obligation. That's why she filed it. It's the state obligation to give it once they get it. But if you don't do the proper filing to get it, if I'm the state and you want evidence from LVMPD that I'm not going to use in my case, again, I'm not going to do the footwork for you. I'm not going to do the work for you. You have to be willing to do the work yourself. I mean, she has years of experience. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yes. Right. Either way, do the work. You're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to put in work. In the mini video of Manny and Court peers, never seen them like that before. He was doing some weird stuff with his eyes, but I didn't see any piercings in his eyes. But he was doing some really weird stuff like this squinting. But I did hear from the chat that that is something that he normally does. I know he wears glasses, so I figured it was due to that. It was just the weird times in which he was doing it. So for everybody that's here right now that's in the chat, thank y'all. Hit the like button and make sure you share, right? Now if you're in the chat and you're in the bushes, Michelle, are you here? I don't fight and I'm not for either party. So if that was you that I saw, you could. So I'm not really sure if that was you and I didn't want to impose, but I believe it was you. I'm waiting for someone to send me a picture. So, Machete, I have no issues with you. I do not know you, sir. I would love to have a conversation with you. I do not have any dog in this fight. I am not for or against Manny, for or against Finney. Only thing I'm here to do is provide the information that I hear in the courtroom. So everything I've said today, if that was you, then you heard it, right? And you see exactly how I presented it here today. So I believe you. Did somebody send? I think somebody tried to send me a picture. Can the person who sent me that photo please send it again? And I did want to let you guys know again, there was really nobody in the courtroom at all, specifically for Manny today. The only person I believe I saw, and I think it was him, from the pictures that you guys posted before. I believe it was him. In the picture, he looks a little bit more big and scarier than he does in person, so I'm a little bit confused. I just want to make sure, but I believe I did see Machete with you. I wish you, your family well. I have no problem with anybody that is following this case. When I did my live update yesterday, I told you guys I was waiting outside the courtroom to see if I did see that person walk out. So what happened was when I was leaving the courtroom, I happened to notice this person, and he was with another person, another a woman who was tall, blonde hair, and we got close to the elevator. She kind of whispered something, and I think I just heard her say right there, like, or that's her. Something short, something really short. And before he said where, and then he turned around, he looked directly at me, and then they both walked away from the elevator and walked towards the window as if they were not going to get on the elevator anymore. And obviously, I'm not a stalker. I'm not a crazy person. I'm 5'1.5". I weigh 123 pounds. I'm not hurting anybody. My ass on the elevator. I'm not about to intimidate anybody named Machete. I don't want to get macheted. Okay? So, if that was you, sir, I have no qualms, no problems. I'm literally just following the case from the perspective of the law. And that is it. That is it. That is all. So reach out to me uh, if you would like to have a conversation. Maybe next time we can have a conversation. Maybe a little bit more different, or, I don't mind taking any kind of criticism. Okay. I think that was him, guys. I really think that was him. I just got a picture. I think that was him. His hair was more pulled back and nice and clean, but the same mustache. And I can't really tell in this picture. In this picture, he kind of looks a little bit more feistier than he did in person. In more person, he looked a little bit more reserved. But I believe this is him. So again, Machete, if you are out there, when I told you guys exactly what just happened. Like at the elevator, I was not going to be weird. I'm not chasing people down or anything like that. I'm not trying to get hurt following this case, guys. Like, I really, really love her, and I would hate for her to get a call about me not being here. So That's pretty much it. Are you guys fighting in my chat? You guys know I don't like fighting in chat. Y'all don't have to be nice to each other, but don't fight. Okay? Do I need to do a recap? Does anybody have any questions for me? Uh, who's in here? Let's see. So I gotta start timing you folks out. Come on, guys. Yeah, I was asking for help, OYB. I don't know these people. Help me. I'm trying to get to know everybody. And then when I say everybody's name and try to interact with everybody, and then people get mad at me and say they don't want to hear my introduction. But I'm trying to get to know everybody so that, yeah, that was him, guys. I did. That was Machete that I saw. So he was in the courtroom. He was definitely in the courtroom. Definitely in the courtroom. Thank you, Queen. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yep, I have no qualms with you, sir. I wish you and your family the best. I know that this time is hard for everyone. There's a lot of people outside of the people who have done the things that they have done that are suffering. So I want to make sure that we get what we got to get done. I'm trying to learn everybody myself, honestly. Kill will help I can. Thanks you. Thank you. Thank you for your sneak link. You're always on point and go with facts. Pretty much facts only. That is what it. So I'll give a quick rundown for everybody, anybody who just popped in. We talked about exactly what happened in the court. We talked about the motion. We talked about Manny, his appearance, things like that. I'm gonna find out what was in his pocket. I'm nosy like that. I'm gonna find out. I know he had his glasses in his pocket, but I want to find out what that paper was. We did talk about who's responsible for requesting the information that they're looking for. We talked about why the public defender would want that information. And we talked about why the state wouldn't care about that information and who should be going after that information. So, what we want to make sure that we are doing is following the evidence, following what's happening in the courtroom. Continue to do that part. As long as we continue to do that part, we'll stay on top of things. I expect something is going to pop in there. Something is going to pop into this court case. Okay. Um, Sneaky, that's not the way it works. Just so you know, that's why she filed the motion. That's exactly why she. That's exactly how it works, and that's exactly why she had to file a motion. So if you look at the definition and you look at all of the things that I posted earlier, state the state is not responsible for asking for anybody's evidence, right? Now, this is why the judge kept repeating, "Hey, if the state is going to use this information, then they need to request it." She said it about 3 different times, and the state never really picked up on it. Ghost, come up. Don't go mute. I would rather be correct than incorrect. Don't come up though. I mean, don't go on mute. I put the link. It should be pinned. Um, I like open dialogue, and I'm here for it. I practice criminal defense law. It does not work that way when the state knows certain evidence exists, which is why her motion was granted. Um, yes and no. Um, it's a mixture of both. Again, the motion was granted because Was the state addressed in any way? Was the state say, hey, you're suppressing evidence? The judge didn't address them in any other way other than, hey, are you going to ask for it? No, you're not going to. Okay, so why didn't you? Why didn't somebody put in a subpoena? So the state doesn't have to request it. Not from another jurisdiction. Because remember, it's not like this is LVMPD, this is a lower court. So can they request it? Yes. Can they subpoena it? Yes. That's why it was granted. It's the state of both are familiar with the law. Yeah. I expected for them to offer up pretty soon. The DA election is in January. I think that that's going to matter for this case. I really don't. I think that with the state of Nevada right now and where things are going, they're going to trial this case as an example of what not to do in Las Vegas. I'm telling you by practice, not by theory. Okay. So defense attorneys filed those motions for appeal reasons after already requesting in the discovery. Okay. But, and this is the thing, did they request it to the state or did they request it to the LVMPD? Because the state doesn't have it. So when they made that request at that time, even during, like in the paperwork, we won't see yet. When they made that request, clearly nobody sent it to the LVMPD, even them, for the information. If you want it, yeah, we can get it. That's not the problem. But you have to properly ask for it. But if state knows it exists, they need to hand it over. Yeah, they need to. That's the difference. If the state has knowledge, then they are obligated. If they have knowledge, if they have the information. If they have the information, you're right. They need to turn it over and they are obligated to do so. But if this is not a part of the case yet, it need let me help you out. Let me just go ahead and read it for you. Yes, it all has to be given over. I'm not disputing anything you guys are saying. We're talking about chain of custody, how it gets requested. It does not work that way. It has to be requested appropriately. You can't just say, give me all you got. No, there's a process, which is why the motions was set. Like you said, yes, all of it was, the motion was set for that reason. Also for the appeals process. So at the end of this, remember, we went through the entire process of what needs to happen in a capital punishment case. And at the end of it, you get to your appeals. So that's when this will maybe, probably, might work in your favor. Right. Okay, Ghost. I'm not the judge, right? And again, I only go with what happened in the court. I don't go what happens in comments. I don't go what happens in the news feed. I literally sit in the courtroom and I go with what they say. The judge said to Violet Redasto, why have you not requested the information? Why have you not put in a subpoena? She then turned to the state and she said, if you are going to use it, why aren't you going to request it? They said they're not going to use it. The state doesn't have it. They cannot give them something that they don't have. They're not denying them. They're not saying, hey, we're not going to give you this paperwork. You can't have it. These are our videos and our photos. You can't have it. No, that's not what they're saying. Okay. So come up because it's very hard to read from the chat. We can get it straightened out. I have the actual motions because she didn't need to subpoena. That's an extra step that the defense should not have to take. What? So even the judge said that that's backwards. I'm not going to go with that. And if you're not going to come up here and so we can converse, like, and get it straightened out, I'm not going to read your comments because you're confusing me. She's making the record because she shouldn't need to do all of that. Okay. Yeah, come on up. Just come up. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with what you're saying. I think the matter is who needs to ask for it. I'm just gonna go with what the judge say. The judge say both of y'all should ask for it. Who wants it though? Okay, Ghost, that's you.
Good, Sneaky. How you doing?
Hello. Good, Sneaky. How you doing? Hey, how are you? Welcome to the
I'm
show.
doing
Thank you
well.
for being here.
No problem. So I just wanted
So
to
explain it
explain
to
the
me. Tell
discover.
me what you're saying. Explain it to me like a
You,
kindergartner. So I
you
just wanted
gotta, you
to
gotta,
explain the
you
discovery.
gotta echo. You might have another tab open,
You got,
but you gotta echo. Like I
you
can hear
gotta,
myself
you gotta
talking
echo.
through
Hear my.
your mic. You can hear me?
I'm on mute. You can go ahead. You can hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on
All
mute.
right. So when a defense attorney, right? I'm a litigation paralegal, so I do most of what people would consider the legwork for attorneys, right? And in criminal court specifically, when you enter into a case and you request discovery, that is not only the discovery that the state has in their possession, that also extends to the evidence that the state knows exists, right? Because if the state is bringing charges against you, they are obligated to present all of the evidence that they are saying is proof as to why they are bringing the charges against you, right? Now, a defense attorney is never obligated to subpoena records outside of their initial discovery request. When you see that happening, that is because the district attorney is playing a dirty game. And it's usually by district attorney offices that have a history of doing these things, right? So, one of the comments I put into your chat earlier is that this particular district attorney office, and you can look this up, there's articles written about this. And this particular DA is known to withhold evidence, right? That goes against our constitutional due process right. No defense attorney should have to jump through flaming hoops to get evidence. Once you request it from the state, because if the defense attorney knows that particular evidence exists, you better bet your bottom dollar that the state knows it exists, right? So once the initial request is put in and the district attorney either blatantly ignores you or doesn't provide the evidence that you know exists, that's where you see motions to preserve evidence being filed. So I did a live on this like a week ago or 2 weeks ago when I seen this motion filed, and I was like, okay, I know exactly why she's doing this. And this is probably because this particular state attorney's office has the history of hiding or withholding evidence or not turning over all that evidence, right? Now, a couple of us did a little bit more research into this particular DA and the office, and lo and behold, they have a history of this. This is something that they do over there, right? Violet Radosta having the experience that she does dealing with these people, I'm pretty sure she knows or probably has had prior cases where their office didn't hand over certain evidence. So, no, no defense attorney is obligated to file a subpoena. Now, can a judge make an argument as to, yeah, you should file a subpoena since the state is not giving it over? Sure. Judges make a lot of arguments that are outside the rules of law, right? Because they have the discretion to do so. That's why they're a judge. But that is not actually the way things work. When it's requested, it's supposed to be handed over. And when it's not handed over, that's when you start seeing motions to preserve evidence being filed. That's when you start to see the defense filing subpoenas outside of what the state was supposed to give them. So that was all that I wanted to explain to you because I do this for a living. Like I'm in criminal defense. So this is something that I actually have a lot of experience in, not just by theory, not following cases, but actually trying cases.
Okay, stay here. Go on mute for me for a second. So I really appreciate this type of dialogue here. Um, I really don't have a question, more of a statement, right? So, given all things be it true on both ends, the way you say it and the way the judge, if the defense is not supposed to request it and the state is supposed to request it, right? And the state understands that in a case where there is maybe lack of evidence, maybe there is, you know, maybe there's not any witnesses, or, something is janky about the case. And maybe the DA is trying to pull a fast one and trying to, you know, get one over on the district attorney because they don't really have a case. You know what I mean? Where the DA may be doing a little bit of shiesty things. But in a case where I have the actual stance on my case, and if so, why would I do that? Now understand that again, reporting from the court, understanding basically, how things go. But obviously, I'm not a lawyer, which I've said many, many times on this platform, right? So it's kind of like the referee in any, a game. They're seeing it their way. We might see it a different way from the audience, but it goes by what the judge says. So, what would be the reason that they would mess up this case? Do you, and again, because I'm not an expert, I usually have questions. What do you think that the LVMPD has that would help this case for the defense? And I'll go
Okay.
on mute.
First, I wanted to explain something because of what the judge explained. I'm still hearing myself. I'm sorry. Because of what the judge, because of the judge's discretion of her telling the defense that she needed to file a subpoena. So just so understand, so like everybody understands the way that a criminal case goes. When you sue somebody, right? And a criminal case is basically you getting sued by the state because you broke one of their rules, right? So the state is suing you for a crime that you committed. It is on the state's onus to prove and to provide all the evidence as to your claim, right? So when a defense attorney makes a discovery request, it is not the obligation of the defense attorney to go find all that evidence and to hand it over. It is actually the obligation of the state to go get all that evidence and hand it over to the defense, right? So yes, do attorneys have, I mean, do judges have discretion in what it is that comes out of their mouth and how they may practice the law in their particular courtrooms? Absolutely, they do, because that's why they're judges, right? They have the right to judge. But is that the way that the rule is written? Absolutely not. And no state in America operates that way, right? Now, when it comes to what do I think that they have that might help Manny, I don't honestly think that they have anything that'll help Manny. What I think that Violet is doing is exposing the fact that this DA office has a history of doing this, which I'm pretty sure Tiara knows because she's been a judge there for a pretty long time. And she's putting it on record so that they don't do it. Why? Because even it could be the smallest amount of evidence that the state doesn't hand over that Violet knows that exists, and due to her request, they didn't hand over, it'll cause a mistrial. Manny will go walking if they don't hand over all the evidence that she's asking for. So let's say that these two videos, obviously she knows they exist because she requested it multiple times and never got it, right? Um, let's say that evidence actually doesn't come up and it doesn't help Manny. That holds no bearing to anything. It will cause a mistrial. And I'm telling you, Manny will walk if they don't hand over this evidence. Now, the other side to that is you just have certain lawyers, and obviously a DA is a lawyer. You have certain lawyers who are just they're bred into how they practice what they practice. They're never going to change how they do things, whether they work for the state or whether they work privately, right? They've been doing it for 20, 30 years of their life. It's been working that long. Why would they ever change now? And that's what I see coming from this DA. I don't actually think that they have anything when it comes to video footage that would help Manny. Now, when it comes to the evidence that may be turned in to the state attorney, to the public defender, or to the police department ever since they asked, I think that evidence might be a mitigating factor to his sentencing, but I don't think that it would help him actually get off of this charge because, as you said, the deletion of two people was video recorded on two separate lives, aside from the people that were video recording on the strip when they were on the strip, right? So no, I don't think that it's actually a tactic that Violet is using to help Manny, besides the fact that she knows if they don't hand over certain evidence, she can get a mistrial. And I think that's her angle, knowing who she's dealing with.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you so much. So she pretty much just wanted to add some drama to the case and possibly get a mistrial at the end of this whole thing because she's got nothing else. Got it.
Yeah, like if you were a defense attorney,
My
you would do
Yeah,
the
like
same
if you
thing
were
if
a
you were
defense
dealing
attorney,
with a
you would do.
DA that you know hides evidence, right? And you know that he's hiding evidence in the request that I just currently made. Your job is to defend your client. Your job is to defend the murderer, right? So of course you're gonna do things and put certain things on record that if it does happen, then of course she has a report card to keep up too. You know what I mean? She's a defense attorney, so but that's all I wanted to come up and explain, Sneaky. I
Got
didn't,
it. You're right.
I don't want to deter this
Explain,
show
Sneaky.
left,
I
so
don't, you know,
I'm gonna hop
I
back
don't.
down in the chat.
No, you didn't. You didn't detour at all. You definitely added to the commentary, which is definitely appreciated. Again, I enjoy this type of dialect. I have no problem with anybody coming up hitting it. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I just know some stuff, and I know some
No
people,
doubt.
and I see some things. So I talk
No
about it.
doubt. I got
You
you.
know what I mean? I'm in the courthouse. I go into that district attorney's office more than anything I know. I've made friends with the people in there, and I'm trying to get to learn, a lot more than what I know so that it can help me in future cases. And I actually was thinking about going to work in the courthouse. So
I think
there's a
you
lot of
should for
different things
somebody
that
that's
are that
not.
I'm doing on my end to make sure that
I
the
think you
information.
should for somebody that's not. My bad. I was just saying. I think you should get into law in some aspect. Not everybody has the brain or the mind for law, but you definitely have it. So even if you took up like paralegal studies or like pre-law, I think you would do well in the legal
Even if you
field.
took up like paralegal studies or like pre-law, I think you would do. I do have a little bit of experience. My schooling, I don't want to give too much of my information away. Let's just say I had a courtroom in my school.
Word,
So
that's
I
dope.
did have some experience there, and I decided to go in a different direction. That's dope. But I do have some experience there. I do have formal basic education and how things are supposed to move and work. And I do know that the courtroom is a revolving door of things that can happen. So I appreciate you coming up. I love, 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 love the dialect. Any information added when it's this kind of information is always going to be appreciated on this page. And you're more than welcome to come up anytime. And I want to work with you. I
No
want to work
doubt.
on something
Just
with
so
you.
you know, I'm big on
I have a
paperwork.
few
So when
different
it comes to
cases that I'm looking at. Hit me up, all right? Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you.
no doubt.
So that was some great, great commentary added. What are you guys thinking? Before I get out of here, I know I missed some comments, so let me just scroll up and make sure I didn't miss too many questions or anything like that. The DA who had controversy was David Roger. His assistant DA was on drugs and overcharged Bruno Mars. That was years ago. Okay, I'll look into it. Let me just take a quick note of that. Okay, let's see. OYB in the chat. One video, the other
Sin City, put your guns down and stand with me. This shit was so silly. Tore up a whole city and 2 whole families. Sin City, Sin City, Sin City, Sin City. Let's go. Put down your guns, there's a cost to pay for the games you play. It could be your life, in a grave or a cell. Is it worth it? Nobody's perfect. Don't leave your family hurting. It ain't worth it. Hey, you, yeah, you put it down and walk away. Live to fight another day. There's a cost to pay for the games you play. The rest we lay. Finny, bubbly. We celebrate your life today. Many to the Lord, I hope you pray. Now they wanna take your life away, all for a YouTube page. Rest in heaven, Finny, you will be missed. Sleep like an angel, Bubbly, you will be missed. Sending love to the babies, they bless the world with. Condolences to your families you can no longer sit with. Sympathy to those who witness. Shout out to Las Vegas, Sin City. Put your guns down and stand with me. This shit was so silly. Tore up a whole city and 2 whole families. Stop trying to compete where you do not compare. We are all so different, so special, so rare. Create with care, share with good intentions. Subscribe with high expectations and like with love. Yours truly sneaky, 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 sneaky. Put it down, you put it down. You cut it done, there's a cost to pay for the games you play. It could be your life in a grave or a cell. Is it worth it? Nobody's perfect. Don't leave your family hurting. It ain't worth it. Hey, you, yeah, you put it down and walk away. Live to fight another day. There's a cost to pay for the games you play. The rest we lay. Finny, bubbly, we celebrate your life today. Many to the Lord, I hope you pray. Now they wanna take your life away, all for a YouTube page. Rest in heaven, Finny, you will be missed. Sleep like an angel, Bubbly, you will be missed. Sending love to the babies they bless the world with. Condolences to your families you can no longer sit with. Sympathy to those who witness. Shout out to Las Vegas, Sin City. What I mean, to the Lord I hope you pray. Now they wanna take your life away, all for a YouTube page. Rest in heaven, City, you will be missed. Sleep like an angel, Bubbly, you will be missed. Sending love to the babies they bless the world with. Condolences to your families you can no longer sit with. Sympathy to those who witness. Shout out to Las Vegas, Sin City. Put your guns down and stand with me. This shit was so silly. Tore up a whole city and 2 whole families. Stop trying to compete where you do not compare. We are all so different, so special, so rare. Create with care, share with good intentions. Subscribe with high expectations and like with love. Yours truly, Sneaky.